The history of Myanmar's coups. Since independence in 1948, before Myanmar was called Myanmar, it was actually called Burma. After being colonized by the British, it eventually became known as British Burma. Although during World War II, the Japanese seized power in Burma and therefore eventually established a puppet state, thus becoming known as the State of Burma. But unfortunately, it got conquered again by the British and thus becoming Burma. But then in 1948, after years of British rule, the country finally gained independence, thus adopting a red background with a blue canton and with a big large white star with 5 stars around it. It had a canton flag and a democracy, thus becoming known as the Union of Burma. This democracy would last until a communist coup led by Ne Win was formed in 1962, and thus the Socialist Republic of the Union of Burma was formed. But then in 1974, the stars around here would eventually be replaced by a wheel and a corn with more stars around it. And eventually in 1974 as well, the name Burma would eventually be replaced by the name Myanmar. All of this communist rule would last until 1988, when during the 8,888 protests, the protesters would eventually be shot and killed by the military and basically murdered as well. And therefore eventually, Ne Win resigned and fled the country, leaving the military to take power and thus forming again the Union of Burma, which would eventually be replaced again by the Union of Myanmar. And therefore eventually, this man named Than Shwe eventually would seize power in Myanmar. But then, therefore eventually, in 2010, the canton flags ended and thus the yellow, green, red tricolor flag, the same tricolor flag from World War II, was restored. But they removed the peacock and therefore instead replaced it with a white star, thus forming the Burmese flag of Myanmar. But then therefore eventually, the Republic of the Union of Myanmar was formed, and Than Shwe would eventually resign in 2011. But then therefore eventually in 2016, a Burmese Democrat named Aung Suu Kyi therefore seized power and formed a Burmese democracy. But then tensions between both her and the military would grow and eventually would explode into a military coup in 2021 that removed Aung Suu Kyi. Ever since then, Myanmar was destroyed by both coups and the military and has been hard to recover ever since then. This is the end of the video, and that's why Myanmar has military coups and is reluctantly destroyed by the military, the Tatmadaw. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.